Hey, it's your old pal Fernborg, and it's well past Labor Day, which means it's time for you to go ahead and put your white shorts back in the long-term storage and to put your tarp on your camper, which is what I'm going to do today. Yes, I had a little hiccup. The tarp hooked the roof vent on there. And of course, it didn't want to come over at that point, so I kind of bent it a little bit, so I got something to work on next spring. Yay! Anyhow, tarp's up. Almost ready for winter. Well, another sign that fall is in the air. My fire bush is starting to turn red. And both my Rosa Sharon are starting to bloom. These are pretty nice plants. They'll bloom for a long time. This butterfly plant started blooming a couple weeks ago, and unfortunately, I think I missed most of the best looking flowers, but anyhow, it's pretty cool. And then right next to it is this thing that's getting ready to bloom, whatever the heck that is. A couple of weeks ago when I was up here, I transplanted 3 rhodies from my old place to up here, so I think that's a gold one, and these are all hybrids, and that's a purple one right there. It makes a really nice deep purple flower. Well, look what made a visit to Morningwood. I hope you can see through the screen, but this thing is leafing along nicely. However, this one little branch right here that's sticking out, that got stripped. But anyhow, not too bad. Better than the whole tree. So I'm pulling into the driveway at Morningwood, and I got a little friend standing right in the driveway. I like them apples. Oh, looks like she's taking off. Oh, there's 2. You dumbasses, that's where I need to turn around. Well, it's a week later, as you probably noticed from the graphic, and it's actually sprinkling outside right now, which is kind of a pleasant surprise. Hopefully it doesn't keep me from doing the stuff I wanted to do today. Just enjoying a little pour-over coffee. Pour-over coffee is like stupid expensive if you buy the pre-made packs. I got some empty packs that you can put your own coffee in, as you saw. That's like a pack of 50 or 100, I can't remember, but it's relatively inexpensive for compared to regular pour-over coffee. Anyhow, cheers. I have to say, we really need this rain, though, so it's not too much of an inconvenience at all. You can see behind me, my trees are brown, and they shouldn't be brown at all. It's kind of scary. And just look how brown this tree is. I've never seen this tree turn this color, so hopefully we get a decent amount of rain. It's Wednesday, Friday, we're supposed to get around an inch, so hopefully that'll perk things up and maybe take us out of the burn ban, which would be nice. We're getting a really nice rain right now. Hummingbirds are tanking up. Boy, I wonder how long this is going to last, because we could use it a lot. So I'm pretty happy that I decided to put up the tarp on my camper last week. Might seem like I'm pretty smart to have done that, but really it's just paying attention to the weather forecast and getting ready for a weather event. And I'm tempted to try these guys, which are basically some hash brown potatoes that were factory dehydrated, and then I put into this bag. I got an oxygen absorber in here, but these I put in here in March of 2017, so well past what you should keep something like this in. But I kept it in a really good temperature controlled environment, so there's a real chance that they're still okay. But that's a lot of potatoes. I don't know that I want to try that much in one go. For those of you who wonder if that's going to work all the time, I vacuum sealed these dried pineapples a couple months later, and you can see they are just shot. They shouldn't be black. But what I am going to have are some Spam grits and eggs. So I got one package of butter and one package of cheddar cheese grits. Get some water boiling, and I'll get some Spam ready and maybe a couple eggs. So that splattering is just the rain hitting this hot pan, getting a little bit into the oil. This is the Spam I think that's left over from my breakfast burrito. Get that in there and heat it up. Well, it ain't much for looks, but hope it tastes good. Some of these grits out, which is tough to do looking at the camera. I'll just put the whole thing out. Just gonna throw a couple shakes of Cholula on my eggs here to dip them up. I didn't put any other seasoning on them. It's gonna taste pretty good. It got kind of chilly out once it started raining. It's in the high 50s, which is I mean, not exactly freezing cold, but a little chilly when you're used to stuff in the 70s and 80s. Anyhow, cheers. Earlier in the video, I was trying to show how nice these flowers looked, and in the past week since the beginning of this video, this is actually kind of spruced up quite a bit. It's a really neat looking little flower. And these have opened up a lot more too, so you can kind of see the pink, just the tiny pink flowers that are starting to open up on this guy. So I transplanted this rhododendron into the side of my hill. And the problem with hills is that they aren't flat, because then we would call them a plain and not a hill. Regardless, I have to build a little bit of a retaining wall, and I had this many bricks with me. I have a lot more back at home, but I'll have to bring those up here and build that a little bit higher to hold some dirt in to protect those roots. It's after 5 p.m. I'm starting to lose my light, and I'm a little bit hungry. So I'm going to have this Peak ReFuel Chad Mendez Venison Country Casserole. Now, I don't have any idea who Chad Mendez is or what makes this a signature dish of his, but I'm going to go ahead and try it anyway. Look how cool he looks. He's got binoculars and a bow. You always use those at the same time. So once again, we'll do a, does it look like after it's rehydrated like it does on the package? One thing that actually kind of concerns me are the carrots in here. The last time I had a Peak ReFuel that featured carrots in it, the carrots did not taste good at all. For calorie nerds, we got 420 calories if you eat half the package, but we all know you're going to eat the whole thing, 920. This is actually a giant amount of food. It's 6.2 ounces dry, which is really big, but it only takes a cup of water, so I'm pretty surprised that that's going to work. And here's your list of ingredients, sort of. For you sodium watchers, only 1,400 for this entire bag, which seems like a lot, but for something like this, it's not much at 6.2 ounces dry. Let's go ahead and rip this baby open. Right on top we got our don't eat. And there's those big ass carrots that I'm not happy about. And I'm not sure if that's venison on the top. That's kind of a clump of something. Look at this. Weird. So underneath all this stuff on the top is a giant pile of rice, which is where we're going to get most of our calories, and probably a crap ton of carbs, which really doesn't bother me. This actually smells exactly like beef stew. So I'm going to guess it's beef stew with venison. I'm going to go ahead and put the full cup of water in here. That's a lot of rice. I have no doubt that it's going to absorb all of it. Got my long spoon. Let's get her down there. Well, after 10 minutes of rehydrating, I opened her up at the 5-minute mark and give her a stir. Let's see what we got. It all kind of came out nice. A little bit left in there. So it looks a little like there's little tiny pieces of venison in here. It smells good. Let's give her a try. It's actually smelling a lot more like beef stroganoff than beef stew like it did before. You really get that sour cream smell coming out of it. That's what it is. This is actually really good. If I were to do this again, I would put a very healthy 1 cup of water in there, a very generous 1 cup of water. And I would let it sit for at least 15 minutes. The rice is not 100% soft like it should be. And some of the meat is a little crunchy and tough in the middle, which would have totally been solved by just a skitch more water and a skitch more time. So there you are. It has a really good kind of beef stroganoff type flavor. You can really taste the mushrooms in here and the sour cream just like you could in their beef stroganoff recipe. There's green beans in here that taste really, really good. This thing, I can't figure out how to make that thing focus. Anyhow, and the carrots are not distracting at all, so this is a fantastic menu. It took me a minute, but I finally figured out exactly what that tastes like. It tastes exactly like the green bean casserole that you have at Thanksgiving, which I absolutely love, but it tastes like that without the crunchy onions on top. But if you made that with like hamburger mixed in it, that's exactly what it tastes like, which, by the way, is phenomenal. Well, I figure I'll go ahead and pay off the teas for the old hash browns. Ooh, scary. Go ahead and get these rehydrating for breakfast. I won't be eating all these, if any. First, we can give the old smell check, make sure nothing's foul in here. Oh, it smells fine. Since it's 45 degrees out this morning, I thought I'd give my hot water a fighting chance by putting it in this packet gourmet koozie, and it fit just perfectly, so pretty nice. Well, I wait for those to rehydrate, which might take a little bit, probably at least half an hour. I have some cup of coffee, which is going down pretty darn good at this temperature. Turns out 1 pack of Trader Joe's instant coffee and 1 sleeve of pour-over coffee is a nice combination. I did a little safety taste test before I decided to put these in the pan. They seemed absolutely fine, so I'm not going to be able to cook all of these. That's a pile of potato. Well, time to add my Spam to the pan. Spam to the pan. This has already been cooked, so I just got to reheat it. Well, Spam's already cooked in the first place, but this is already pre-crispified. It's taking me forever to finish off this Spam, I tell you what. There you go. Wheat is about 1,000 times sunnier today than it was yesterday. hit me right in the eyeball. This pan is heavy. Holy crap. It's too heavy to hold at an angle and try to manage the camera at the same time. Alright, my apologies in advance to Canada. There's no ketchup on this, as I spill my shit right here.